Amigos, the devs just nerfed the entire game. And I'm not even joking. Patch 1.1 notes have been released and they are pretty juicy to say the least. Now, the devs actually listened about affixes being too strong, specifically like things like crit damage and vulnerable damage. But none of us seen what was really coming with this patch, and that is every affix in the game, it seems like, pretty much got nerfed or buffed. And this includes all defensive layering. Now, I'm sure all of you know how tedious it was to build up defensive layering, stack an armor or damage reduction so you wouldn't get one shot by every single mob 10 levels above you. This is especially needed when you're pushing high nightmare dungeons starting at T70s and above, but now we have so much more to worry about. The disobedience aspect was nerfed heavily. The maximum stacks have now been reduced from 100 to 60, reducing the bonus maximum armor from 25% to 50 to 15 to 30%. This is insane, especially for classes that don't have a consistent source of damage. So things like bleed barbs or things like poison druid, poison rogues especially, you had a constant source of stack and disobedience stacks. If you play any other spec, you would only get max stacks for maybe 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds before it started to dwindle off. So next to the disobedience stacks, let's scroll down through this long list here. Total armor affix on your helmets, on your chest, on your armor, or on your pants were reduced by 30%. So that's 30% less of your value that you had already on your gear. Total armor in werebear and werewolf form also reduced by 25%. And across the board, every kind of damage reduction was reduced by 20 to 25%. Not only did they nerf defensive layering though, they also butchered everyone's overall damage by nerfing both crit strike damage and vulnerable damage in the same patch. But that's not all. They also reduced everyone's cooldown reduction by 30%. So I mean, this is such a slap in the face to sorceresses especially, who are already the weakest in the entire game. Now you guys have to deal with not being cooldown capped. Like, I honestly feel bad for players who play sorceress. Another interesting thing was damage to crowd controlled enemies was also decreased by a whopping 30%, but then you have something like damage to frozen enemies was increased by 20%. And then the big thing here is the nerf to implicits on certain items. So cooldown reduction on offhands, the implicits were reduced by 35%. Crit strike damage on swords were reduced by 50%. And vulnerable damage that were on crossbows reduced by 65%. Now honestly, I think this is all insane to do all in one go. They have buffed a ton of offensive aspects though. I mean, this list is pretty large. And what they want to do here is add more variety to itemization, which I think is great for the game. I think it's great to have variety in ARPGs, but this might be a little bit too much. So overall, everyone's damage is going to be significantly lower. And by significantly, I mean significantly. The game that everyone has been playing has drastically been changed with these affix changes. For better or for the worse, who knows? But on paper, again, this seems really excessive. We were all warned about the class nerfs for today's patch, but I wasn't aware that the whole game was getting a nerf. This changes everything. So not only is everyone scrounging around trying to revamp their builds and see what's really going to work, we only have 2 days to do this before season start. And while some may think that that's enough time, trust me when I say it is not. Especially for me, when I have 6 or 7 different builds on my channel that I have to really reevaluate now just based off of the nerfs to defensive and offensive. Yeah, let me know if it's really, you think it's good for the game or if it's something that you think will really backfire on them. As always, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more daily Diablo 4 content. And until next time, amigos, take care.